We already know that Yuta is controlling Satoru Gojo's body, but Yuta's copying technique has a time limit, which raises a sea of questions. What could happen to Gojo's distinguished body after these 5 minutes? Want to know more about this? Want to understand the possible scenarios for Yuta and Gojo's body from here on out? Stick with Just Otakus in this video to get the full scoop on this battle. Seriously, Yuta's possession of the blue-eyed hunk's body. This technique has an issue, which I'll explain in the video. But first, smash the like button below and subscribe to the channel, my dear otaku, as it will give tremendous support to this fledgling channel. Now, without further ado, let's dive into what could happen to Yuta Gojo after the 5 minutes are up. Before discussing the main probabilities, let's explain and contextualize how Yuta's copying technique worked and works according to Jujutsu Kaisen manga, chapter 261. Back when Yuta had Rika, his childhood sweetheart turned vengeful spirit after her physical death, he could use the copy techniques indefinitely. As long as both Yuta and Rika had cursed energy, he could utilize any innate technique he copied from other shamans. We saw this in the movie Jujutsu Kaisen 0, where he used cursed speech through a megaphone thanks to Rika being in her full form. Rika's full presence allowed Yuta to use this technique without a time limit, as long as his energy lasted. However, remember what happened at the end of Jujutsu Kaisen 0? Yuta released Rika's soul because he thought he had been cursed by her, but in truth, it was his own desire not to lose her that cursed her into becoming a vengeful spirit. Yuta held the key to release her soul, allowing her to finally rest in peace. So, some years later, when Jujutsu Kaisen resumed, we saw Yuta after freeing Rika's soul. He received a Shikigami in the form of the original Rika, without her soul, but with a strong desire to stay with Yuta. This turned into a soulless Shikigami, completely symbiotic with Yuta, storing weapons and copied techniques within it. It also stored a full tank of cursed energy to aid Yuta in battle. According to chapter 261, this Shikigami, Rika, has a maximum assimilation time with Yuta of 5 minutes. Within these 5 minutes, Yuta can use all the copied techniques on the battlefield outside of his domain expansion. Inside his domain expansion, Yuta can use any copied technique indefinitely. We saw this in his fight against Sukuna, the king of curses. But outside the domain, he relies on total assimilation with Rika to access these techniques. However, this assimilation only lasts 5 minutes. Once this time is up, Yuta can't use the copied techniques and must rely on physical combat and cursed tools. How does Yuta copy techniques? According to manga chapter 261, he has Rika eat a part of the shaman whose technique he wants to copy. For instance, Rika ate Uro's arm and Kenjaku's head, storing their abilities within her for Yuta to use and amplify as needed. This brings us to the scenario where Yuta activates the 5-minute assimilation with Rika while on the surgery table, using the Kenjaku technique to possess Gojo's body and heal his injuries. Once the 5 minutes are up, what happens? There are 3 main possibilities. Number 1, constant use. If Kenjaku's technique needs to be constantly active to keep the host body alive, Gojo's body would collapse after 5 minutes, as neither Yuta's soul nor brain could be saved. However, this seems unlikely, given the time required for the brain transfer, and healing Gojo's body would have taken longer than 5 minutes. Number 2, frequent use. If Kenjaku's technique needs frequent reactivation, e.g. weekly, Yuta would need to periodically use it to maintain control over Gojo's body. But this also seems unlikely, since Yuta should be able to reactivate the technique as needed, similar to how he uses other copied techniques after a cooldown period. And number 3, one-time use. If Kenjaku's technique is a one-time activation, Yuta could remain in Gojo's body indefinitely without needing to reactivate the technique. This would mean Yuta stays alive and controls Gojo's body, living on with his abilities. In conclusion, it seems most probable that Yuta can stay in Gojo's body without needing constant reactivation of Kenjaku's technique, given that the first scenario is already ruled out due to the extended time taken for the brain transfer and healing process. What do you think could happen after the 5 minutes? If you enjoyed the video, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to support the channel. Thanks for watching.